The laughter hit him like shrapnel. Nice jacket, Grandpa. Did you find that in a dumpster? Or is it just as ancient as you? The words came from a young man with a crisp haircut and an expensive leather coat, flanked by his equally smug friends. Their voices echoed in the wide, glassy hall of the cafe, drawing the attention of curious bystanders. The old man paused, his weathered hand tightening slightly around the coffee cup. He wore an olive green army jacket, its fabric frayed at the cuffs, its color faded by time and memory. On the sleeve, a single stitched patch remained, barely legible, yet unmistakable to those who knew its weight. That he didn't respond. He didn't need to. His silence seemed to irritate them more. Another sneer. What war did you fight, huh? TikTok wars. People watched, some with faint smirks, others with pity, but none with the courage to intervene. The weight of silence crushed the room. His name was Samuel Hargrove. 74 years carved into his skin, each wrinkle a story, each scar a chapter. His eyes, though dulled by time, still carried the sharpness of a man who had once seen too much. Vietnam, Kuwait, Fallujah. The names weren't just places, they were ghosts stitched into the fabric of that jacket. Decades ago, he had marched through jungles soaked in monsoon rain, his boots sinking into mud that smelled of gunpowder and rot. He had carried his brothers, sometimes alive, sometimes not, across fields where the air itself trembled with the memory of fallen men. He had once clutched a photograph of his wife, folded neatly in his pocket, the edges worn from trembling. Fingers that missed her desperately. But time is a cruel sculptor. Heroes fade, medals tarnish, and jackets become nothing but cloth to those who never bore their weight. The young men kept prodding, louder now. One of them snapped a photo, holding it up to his friends with a laugh. Vintage loser. Let's make him famous. Samuel's hand brushed the patch on his sleeve, a faint movement unnoticed by most, but it anchored him. He didn't need their validation. He had stood on battlefields where silence meant survival, where words were wasted, but courage was currency. Still, the injustice hung heavy in the air. A man behind the counter, mid-30s, wearing the café's uniform, noticed the commotion, but said nothing. His gaze flickered between the old man and the growing crowd. Silent, complicit, the young men's laughter crescendoed until another voice, calm but carrying the weight of command, sliced through the room. That jacket was earned. The entire café turned. A tall figure stepped forward from the back, his civilian blazer sitting stiffly over broad shoulders. His eyes, cold and resolute, bore the unmistakable gravitas of someone used to war rooms and command posts. On his chest, a small pin, 4 stars, discreet yet impossible to ignore. The room hushed instantly. Even the air seemed to pause. The young men faltered. One stammered, "I was just joking. No harm." The general's voice didn't rise. It didn't need to. "I don't remember giving you permission to dishonor the men who built the ground you walk on." His words landed like hammer strikes, each one driving nails into the coffin of their arrogance. The young men began to back away, their bravado crumbling into awkward murmurs. The general's gaze never softened. "You know why that jacket looks worn?" His eyes flicked toward Samuel, then back to the shrinking bullies. "Because it's been through hell, and it came back standing." One of the boys dropped his phone in his scramble to escape, the mocking photo still glowing on the screen. Silence returned, but it was no longer heavy with injustice. It was a silence of reverence. The cafe staff, the customers, all quietly stood, one by one, as if instinctively knowing they had just witnessed something sacred. A few nodded toward Samuel, some in apology, others in silent gratitude. The general approached Samuel with a slight incline of his head, a salute too sacred to perform in public, but understood all the same. "We never stop standing, sir." Samuel's lips curved into a faint smile, his voice finally breaking its quiet armor. "No, son, we don't. There are battles that never make headlines. Wars fought in silence, with dignity as the only weapon. Sometimes, the loudest victories are won by those who choose not to speak, until it truly matters. Honor doesn't fade," Samuel murmured as he rose. "It simply wears a jacket." And as he walked out, the weight on his shoulders didn't feel so heavy anymore. There are silent heroes among us, men and women who carry battles on their shoulders without asking for recognition. Sometimes, all it takes is one person to stand up and remind us what true honor looks like. Where are you watching from? Share your thoughts about this story in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe for more stories that reveal the quiet strength of those we often overlook.